Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of the Hawks Eye podcast. I'm your host, Bryce Coots. And guys, today we're going to be doing another Hawks Film Lab breakdown with my co-host on that sub show, Dan Viens of Seahawks Forever. And in today's show, everyone, we're going to be breaking down the target volume for Jaxon Smith-Njigba in last Sunday's matchup with the San Francisco 49ers. Why was Jaxon getting the total majority of those targets in that game? Was he the only one open? Were there some things the 49ers were doing that was taking away some of the other targets? And as well, we'll look into were there some things the 49ers were doing that potentially might have given some Sam Darnold some issues with the lack of play action. So we will be getting into all of that. But before we do, help me out, like, subscribe to the channel, be engaged in the comment section. It's been great engaging with all of you and all the videos that have come out. I love the interaction with all you guys. You all bring great points and great suggestions, and give suggestions on maybe other topics you'd like to see the show dive into and discuss. I'm always open to diving into new avenues when it comes to covering the Seattle Seahawks and different things you all may want to see at different points. So with that being said, after this, we get into the Hawks Film Lab on JSN.
So just to start off, putting Jaxon Smith-Njigba's performance on Sunday into context and just how imbalanced it was and how much he dominated the passing game from Sam Darnold and the Seahawks on Sunday. 9 catches, 124 yards, 13 targets. That's a 61.9% target share and a 91% share of air yards on Sunday for the Seahawks. Those are both number one in the league. Obviously, like, we're going to take a look at what it looks like. We're going to take a look at 10 plays here. But just before we get into this, your general observations about that connection, about that performance. Are we concerned because it's not sustainable? We'll talk about that at the end as well, too. Or is it just a case of they couldn't cover him and he was the guy that was open?
I think it's a little bit of both, Dan. For me, it's great that we're seeing this connection from JSN and Sam Darnold, because I think that was something we were kind of worried about this offseason, was like, how's he going to fit in with, this receiving core and Cooper Kupp and JSN? How are they going to get involved? And we didn't get to see much of it in the preseason. And clearly there's a connection there, because there's a couple plays, I'm sure we'll point them out throughout this, but there were a couple times where that's a receiver and quarterback being on the same page and being able to actually execute, maybe not necessarily in rhythm, but within the rhythm of each other. And the other side of it is, though, when you're talking about 61.9% of the target share in game one,
it's crazy.
It's crazy. That's concerning, because I don't know if that means Sam's locking in on JSN, but I think that's a concerning factor of what were the other weapons in that offense doing, and were they schemed open, and were there other factors that were contributing to why JSN became basically the sole air producer for this passing game on last Sunday.
And so, yeah, this was your idea to kind of take this approach, looking at this game, is to examine why he was the primary target and nobody else really got involved in the passing game. And so we're going to try and do that with some video, of course. This is the opening play of the game. We're all excited. Now, before I let this go, we talked on a live show. I think it was on your show last week, right? And I said, I just have a feeling they've been talking about running the football all offseason. San Francisco is going to be ready for it. We're going to throw it on first down, right? Here we go. Just wide open. Right down the middle.
Wide open down the middle. And you watch, it's basically like a cover 4 look to an extent. You got the 2 eye safeties. Warner pluses out, which he's kind of got in that. He's kind of got half responsibility to Walker, as Walker kind of does that orbit out motion and gets out of the backfield. As you can see there, he comes across. So you watch Warner, he's right there on that left hash. He's going to shimmy across as this play. He comes across, they plus out. Now the other linebacker picks up K9. But the problem is you put Fred Warner there for him in a 2-way go. It's a real easy read for a quarterback. He's keying off of, okay, is Warner going to sit inside? He takes JSN away, or is he going to sit outside? The minute he sits outside, JSN pops in behind on that dig or in route. And it's a nice, easy pitch and catch completion. And those are that particular play. I like that play. I like that read from Sam. It's quick. It's in rhythm. It's read a guy, get the ball out. There's no real processing there except that one read.
It's clearly they opened up the played zone on this play, right? And is this kind of a core principle play in this scheme?
It is a core principle play because you're basically high-lowing a defender, right? If you go back to the wide version and not the back end version, you'll see what they do with the route that they've got running adjacent or with JSN. Basically puts that defender in, okay, you have to pick. Whoever you pick is inevitably wrong.
Now let's go back to the sideline view here.
Yeah, the sideline view. So you see there, so you got JSN who's on the line of scrimmage. You got Cup that's basically, they're kind of like in an offset stack look. And so what this does with the plus out of Walker running out to the hash is now you have the corner and the safety are both going to bail deep. They're going to start basically backing off. They're kind of in a cover 4 look. You're going to have Cup here take off, and he's going to settle right down inside here by Warner. And as you keep going a little bit, stop right there. So now Warner's got to make a decision. Is he going to slide towards Cooper, or is he going to stay inside and take away? Either way, because of the motion with JSN, you've pulled that other defender, the running back or the linebacker, outside of the numbers. It's a 2-way go throw here and it's a 1 read for Sam. Like, and nothing down here.
Warner, it looks like Warner tried to play it both ways, right? Like
he tried to bait Sam.
He's going to cover Cooper and then bail out to
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why with Sam, it's really easy in this particular look that they gave defensively with this concept. It's a real easy read. Get my eyes to that apex defender, which is Fred Warner in this situation. He's going to give you the 2-way go on where this concept's going to be, because this is the read. It's a 1-2. And if Sam doesn't like it reading this side of the field, he's going to check it out to K9 as his check down, essentially is what K9 is on this. So for me, the way this looks, and again, I'm not in the offensive meeting room, but it looks like a split field read with a pre-snap determination where if there's a certain way that they had lined up, he may have attacked the short side of the field here with Barner and Oots out to the other side.
That's kind of fun to see, isn't it? A pocket.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Not bad for the opening play. We're not here to talk about the offensive line performance, but it's just, kind of pointed out. It's not bad.
It's a good looking pocket.
Two other things that stand out to me about this first play when I went back and watched them again is number one, it seemed like the rest of the game, the Niners played a shit ton of man after showing that early zone look. And also that may have been the only play of the day where we had wide splits, and then kind of moving forward, everything was much more condensed after that. So this is now that drive didn't go anywhere. We know that, right? And then this is the second drive of the game where they went down 10 plays and marched down and scored a touchdown. And this is when the offense kind of looked like we expected it to. 9 out of the 10 plays were runs. This is the only pass in the drive on 1st and 10, midfield. And it's the only play action pass Clint Kubiak called on the entire day to great success. That's an easy pitch and catch.
It's an easy pitch and catch.
Like he does look.
So what I think's key here is that first look for him. So if you go back to the sideline view of the stand, you can see Sam's eyes here actually are going to Cooper Kupp. He's looking for that in breaker. So when you run based on this pre-snap read, the way you got it, kind of looked at, you're in a cover 2 man look, essentially is what you're in. So the linebackers are going to take the tight end in the back coming out. You got the 2 safeties, middle of the field open, which means the middle of that field is wide open between the numbers. You got the 2 safeties usually on the 2 hashes. And these corners are basically in man. And so if you look at this from Sam, because Fred Warner is basically waiting for Robbie Oots here to make a decision. That's why Cooper Kupp gets taken. Like for Sam Darnold, he doesn't risk the throw. Warner's right in his path.
Because
he's not going to try and
this screenshot. I was going to ask you that. Like, why doesn't he just let it go to Kupp right here? Because
the reason why
is still to him.
It is still to him, but the reason why he doesn't is because of that Fred Warner application right there. He's a good athlete. And if he goes to rip this, if you play it like another second or a half here, yeah, he's going to make up that ground. And that's a tough layer throw because you got to look at it, hold it here. You still have 25 who's still on that inside of that hash. His eyes are to Kupp. There's nothing for him threatening. There's no post. There's no bang 7 or bang 8 going inside. He's got eyes here. So you have 3 guys eyeing on Cooper. And so for Sam, that's an immediate, okay, now I know I've got a one-on-one matchup with JSN on the outside. And it turns into JSN. I can almost guarantee you JSN does not have a wheel on this. This is a complete adjustment. We're talking about chemistry. This is Sam Darnold understanding because the way that ball ends up on JSN being kind of back shoulder thrown,
yeah,
it's not designed to be a wheel. It's Sam realizing, okay, there's space there. I can lay it out there. And JSN can just turn it up the field. Exactly. Yeah. And they're both seeing the same thing.
Okay. They end up scoring a touchdown on that drive, obviously. That was the only pass of the drive. And then this is where things started to go off of the tracks. We weren't joking, right? You've heard this ad nauseum since the game. That was the only play action pass called for Sam Darnold on the entire day. So now we're at the third drive. It's a 3rd and 11. This is an incomplete, but I want to see what you see here, just from the concept and the execution, and see if there were any other options here for this one. Was intended for JSN, one of his 13 targets. Is that just a timing miss? I mean, we've seen that throw. You and I saw it the day we were there together. I saw it all throughout camp. I remember talking to Corbin Smith one day about it. Like, that out route is Sam's bread and butter. And for him to miss that, what happened here?
Can we rewind it to the top of this again, Dan, for me from that sideline view? So play it from here. I got an eking suspicion there's a miscommunication between JSN actually and Sam Darnold here on what they both felt this was going to give.
I mean, so, I do like how early that ball is out. Like, he hasn't begun to cut.
But part of that is the blitz if you look right in his face. That's why he gets rid of it. The issue here, though, is, and I think this is where what JSN was expecting was Sam to hold the ball, because the problem you've got is that outside leverage of that corner, running an out route to an outside leverage corner. Basically, JSN's got to go through him to get outside. So it ended up more or less on this one, I would say, better defensive call than offensive miscue. Because if you watch here, if Sam can hold this ball for an extra, see how quickly, like, he is already feeling that pressure.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, okay, I'm getting the ball out now and I'm throwing it outside. Now, when you play it a little bit more here, he gets rid of it. But like, see where the corner is in relation to JSN?
Yeah.
The corner can see that's coming. Like, he is in perfect position to deal with that out route coming at that depth. So that's where, for me, if you go back to the sideline view on this one, and this is where, again, I think his processing, because he felt the pressure, sped up. Stop it right here. Oh, go back a little bit. This is where if Sam Darnold is not as quick to get rid of this ball and trust Charbonnet to make the block, and this is still them working that out. Look at Arroyo, who's making the chip block here at the top of the 0 on the 30.
Yeah.
And if you watch this, 94 is responsible for Arroyo. 94 is not a linebacker. I don't believe. I think he's
Gross Matos.
I think that's Gross Matos. Yeah. So you watch this as Sam gets back here, go about stop. If he checks that to Arroyo,
yeah,
he's not getting there because Gross Matos is sitting in a hook curl. He's not getting to the flat to take that or to get Arroyo. If Sam gets this right now on Arroyo is probably getting a first down or close to it and giving you that option on 4th and short because you keep playing it, like, just get it to him.
Yeah.
And because, again, it's a predetermined, I'm attacking this side of the field, you don't see AJ Barner sitting in the other flat wide open.
And it's
there's
two themes. I was just going to say, it's one of the themes that we saw throughout the day is Sam really intent on getting rid of the ball quickly today. And then I want to ask you at certain times or have you point out if you think maybe too quick sometimes.
This was a too quick.
But also just, the timing just being off a little bit.
Well, and the thing here too that I'll kind of preface with this, and this is something quarterbacks, it kind of comes back to bite Sam, I think, a little bit with that Abe Lucas strip sack that happens late, is when as a quarterback you start playing that fast and trying to go, I got to get the ball out, I got to get the ball out, I got to get the ball out. You run into you're not feeling the pocket, and there are opportunities to maneuver yourself in the pocket to create time and give yourself an extra half second to make an extra read or get the ball. And that's where I think on that particular play, Sam felt the pressure. He locked right on to, I got to get this ball out to JSN, and he flung it out there. Yeah. If he takes that half second and maybe slides to his left a little, he might check down to Barner in the other flat, or he might check it to Arroyo. And sometimes, and this is what I teach my quarterbacks a lot of the time too, college and whatnot, is you don't always have to throw past the markers to get a first down.
Right.
Because you might be able to get that guy in the flat. He breaks a tackle on a guy that's not used to being in that coverage spot, and he makes the first down out of that. And that's where I think you would have gotten that situation with, again, an assignment pickup, Gross Matos on Arroyo. That's a mismatch. Take advantage of that, regardless if it's a flat throw.
This is the last drive of the first half when they go down to get the field goal. Another 22-yarder to JSN here. Another one over the middle, similar to the opening play.
Very similar to the opening play. What you've got here with Barner, though, that's nice is you've got him running basically like a skinny seam or post, and he's basically pushing that safety out, and you're running basically JSN in behind it. So that front side safety isn't able to see JSN. He can't. He has to respect Barner running vertical, so he has to stay open.
Yeah, he had quite a few options here. He had Charbonnet in the flat too, if he needed to go there.
So if you pause it right now, so based on this, because of the way that Barner runs his route initially, he's got that safety's hips open to the sideline, which now means Barner could have easily caught this too. JSN off the break here is wide open as well. You got two guys to throw the ball to.
So is this a good example of is that the first read, or is this a good example of Sam just looking for JSN intently?
It's hard from this angle to see. I'd have to see how his head's positioned, but I think this may be you're reading that 53, who would be the linebacker there, the apex to your left side. So based on this, let's see Sam's head. So his head's already going to the right. So he's moving, and now he's come back to the middle. Yeah. So what he did initially was try to get that front side safety to open his hips to Barner. Now I know I have my coming back right? Inside. Yeah, I'm coming back inside now to JSN running this bender.
That's what I didn't see from the other angle is Warner he goes right to Barner. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, he looks at Barner initially, knowing that if I can get Barner to open up, I got that coming back inside. I got my inbreaker coming back inside.
I mean, one of the, early on in the game, though, one thing that was really encouraging for me is we've talked over the last several years about some of the issues certain Seahawks coordinators and quarterbacks have had work in the middle of the field. It seems to be a place that Sam Darnold's very, very comfortable.
He was 4 for 4 in there.
Yeah. Very next play. This is another incompletion, but let's see what we have here. I just edited this a couple hours ago, and I've already kind of forgotten how some of these sequence. Okay, yeah. Just had it. This is just a classic out and up, right?
Yeah. See now this, okay. So what I'll tell you right now is they're bringing the motion back in to see if it's man or zone. Now Sam should know it's man. That's what he's checking to. I don't think JSN originally, now pause it here for a second. JSN was not originally on a wheel route. I don't think this was if they go to man, this is our can kill call. So you'll hear quarterbacks say kill or can. What usually happens in an offensive huddle is there are 2 plays given to the quarterback. There is the initial play based on what the offensive coordinator is anticipating. And then there's the kill call if they go to a zone or they go to man. Hey, we're anticipating man. Here's our man beater concept. If they go to a zone coverage, here's our zone beater. And that's what you kind of, and then you play the tendency. Is it going to be a cover 2 zone? Is it going to be cover 4 zone based on down distance, whatever? Now pause it here. The only problem I've got here is Sam is locked on JSN. The entirety of this concept.
Everyone else is covered except for Charbonnet leaking out of the backfield, but that's on his backside.
Right. So if you wait on this a little bit, keep playing a little bit. And so Sam makes the right read. He identifies, and that's okay to lock in if you know. Now, I'll say that the guy gets away with a little bit of a reroute of JSN pretty deep down the field. I don't know if you get away with that call.
Stumbled there on his as he was turning upfield a little bit.
Well, as he breaks here, he gets run into. That should be illegal contact on a receiver.
Yeah. He gets
that throws off the ball's in a good spot. It's outside. It's on the outside dashes, which is fine to the sideline. It's a good ball by Sam Darnold. If they aren't allowed to bump, if that guy gets called for bumping JSN or doesn't bump JSN, JSN probably catches that, steps out of bounds at the 28-yard line and so on. But that's Sam killing it, understanding that they're going to probably cover one here, which is what they exactly roll into, is cover one man. And it's a good ball.
Yeah. Same drive. I just want to show this. I know we're focusing on JSN. I just wanted to throw this one in there as a little bit of a bonus, just because this is such a tough throw and a tough catch on really good coverage. The 9-yarder to Cooper Kupp here on 2nd and 10. I just want to get your thoughts on this. It's kind of classic Cooper Kupp.
Oh, you know what's really interesting about that? That is Saleh knowing what Sam Darnold struggles with. And if that guy is any quicker, 36, at getting to his spot, that might be an interception. This is cover one robber. So you see the defender come late into the middle of the field there. That's your robber defender.
Okay.
And they're banking on this slant concept coming. And this is what the Vikings struggled with versus the Detroit Lions and the Rams at the end of the year. And the Rams, especially in the playoff game, ran a lot of cover one robber in different variations. And the whole thing is you get a single high safety, which you do have, and you get a robber defender that comes late into the middle of the field. And so the thing is a quarterback looks at this and he goes, okay, it's cover one. Because if you look at 36, he shoots outside the DN.
Yeah, makes it look like he might be blitzing.
Well, he might be blitzing, or if you're another thing outside of that as a quarterback, I'm going, okay, if my back is swinging, he is the guy picking up my back out of the backfield, because there's a tight end to that side as well. So now you know you have the linebacker, you have this, and that late.
Wow. Yeah, he was looking exactly for that.
He was exactly. And so Sam gets it there and he throws it in this tight window. But if I'm a defensive coordinator right now, I'm going, Sam Darnold does still not recognize this. This is something we can get him on, because you look, Sam doesn't even see it.
No. Yeah.
And this guy, if this defender for San Francisco is any better, that's his ball going the other way for potentially 6.
Like, is this a case of when you're game planning now for the Steelers this week, right? You're putting your call sheet together. You're not calling this play.
No, I'm probably calling this play, but I'm probably calling something on the backside of this play that defender is not expecting. So I may keep this front. Who is that at the top? Side.
Is that Cody White up there?
That's Cody White. So what I would probably do on this change, if you go back the other way, is if I'm watching this and I see that, okay, we're probably going to see this in some variation from Pittsburgh. What I may do to cause problems, because what they do, if you go to the side angle view again, Dan, of this play, and again, to our listeners, sorry, this is my football nerdism coming out, is you've got A.J. Barner running a quick stick out, basically is what he's running. And Cody White's running, essentially, you're running basically an out and a go, kind of is what you're running.
And the problem is they get, what do you call that, a switch for Barner?
It's kind of, it's a return route. It's a China route in John Gruden's offense. It's basically what it is. Now, what I would do on this that would cause this problems is I would run Cody White on a delayed slant and have Barner take off vertical, and he's either running basically a seam or a bender, or he's running a corner. Because of where that safety is located, if I run a slant coming backside in behind that robber defender, I might get that and have my eyes. So if I'm Sam, I'll look to my left and come back to that, because there's that window right there where Barner tries to work into. If I have Barner just push that linebacker up the field vertically and run that, basically, I'd call it a snag or a slant sit route in behind it with Cody White, you're getting that every time with that robber defender drifting over to the far side, trying to catch you throwing that inside slant.
That's the chess game, right? Like, you recognize, you should, as a good coordinator, that like, ooh, they were on that play. Pittsburgh's going to see that. how do I now use that to our advantage?
Correct. So now what should be happening is Jake Peets, with the technology they have in the NFL, should be buzzing down to Kubiak going, hey, when we called this, this is exactly what they did. They went right to cover one robber in this look on this down and distance. So next time we get this, we either swing out Charbonnet or we change the front side concept with Barner and Cody White to take advantage of that defender leaving that area and vacating it.
All right, we go to the fourth quarter because the third quarter didn't give us much at all to talk about or show. 3rd and 4 here. Another intermediate completion to guess who? Oh, this is the scramble drill.
This is what scares me, is that throw.
I mean, as far as crossbody throws, though, he saw everything here. This looks pretty safe to me.
It does,
in the sense that everyone's flowing his way.
So the thing is 36, who's at the bottom of the screen right now, if he recognizes that earlier, he should be breaking on it.
Yeah.
Because Horton's covered coming across. 36 just plays outside more principle-wise. Like, JSN does a good job of sitting where he does.
But that's what I wanted to look at here, because as the game went along, as I was putting this together, I could see how many plays there were now they're playing a lot of man, right? The second half, and guys are having a hard time getting open.
They are.
You got Cup trying to run a little out and up there. He's covered by Stout. Barner.
Now, see, if you roll this back a little bit, Dan, before the pressure collapses the pocket. Okay, so Sam gets it. And when Sam gets it before the pocket collapses, stop right there.
Is he waiting
that ball?
No.
That's the problem. He's looking at JSN. I'm almost certain he's looking at JSN here because of how long that ball to Barner should be out. Like, it should be coming out now.
Ooh, yeah.
And he's still waiting. And you can see he wanted to rip it right there to JSN.
Dang it.
And then he had to hold back and he locked in. And that's a bit of a problem now, is he got too comfortable with JSN and stopped seeing the full field. Like 1, 2, 3, ball out. Oh, no, JS, I'm going to rip. Nope. Now I'm going to hold it. Now I'm going right back to him and looking for him again.
Yeah.
Which is all great. Like, we want JSN to be the number one receiver, and we think he can be, and he's put up that ability. You got to spread the ball. If you start throwing to Barner, now the defense has to be aware of where Barner is. And if you're throwing to Cooper Kupp, they got to be aware of where Cooper Kupp is at points. They can't just all be like, hey, we're going to start bracketing, because that's what they eventually started to do, is they eventually started to bracket, shift, do different things to try and take the timing out of the JSN and Sam Darnold rhythm in this game.
This one doesn't really fit kind of what we were looking for, but I just wanted to throw it in to get your thoughts on this. What the hell was this? This is the throwback screen.
No! Yeah, no, I'm never a fan of throwback screens if you don't have a mobile quarterback.
Well, and Sam's sneaky athletic. My problem with this, though, is he's committed to turning and throwing. He has no idea what's going on behind him.
Correct. And the other thing with this, the reason why I say this works better, like if you take, so stop right now. Problem with this is, if I'm a defense, right, and I see this, if you go back to the start of the play after the motion starts, Dan, just before the snap. Okay, so we've got Cooper Kupp and we've got, I think it's Robbie Utes, or is it Eric's? Yeah, it's AJ Barner. Sorry, AJ Barner's down there. So he goes across. Now stop right now. Okay, Cooper Kupp's there, Barner's there.
He fakes a little kind of touch pass,
like a little jet thing. Now, so they're both blocking. So stop. Who's going out there? Nothing on that rollout sells anything because there's no concept to the front side of this.
Yeah.
Which isn't going to pull a defense to do anything. It's not going to pull many guys away from it going, oh, this is, there's a potential here for this. And you haven't done a sprint out like that earlier in the game, really. Every scramble for Sam Darnold has been out of a drop back situation, not him purely catching and going. So there's a bunch of red flags that go off for a good defensive NFL player going, okay, so you're randomly sprinting out your quarterback now with a motion going the other way. Like, nobody really believed that was happening. Like, again, if you have a true mobile quarterback where it's like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen that hey, if we don't seal this edge, holy crap, we're in trouble because they're going to take off. Sam's sneaky athletic, yes. When the pocket breaks down, he can get out and get you 10 or 15, but he's not a true running threat like what I'm saying will make that play more successful for you.
Yeah, this one, while this game is going to be remembered for the two 50-50 balls that Reek Woolen misplayed, this was a real close one, missed opportunity for JSN here. Sam giving him a chance to make a play on a 50-50 ball, and Renardo Green just winning this one.
Yeah, go back to the start of this play, Dan. There's a couple things I would love to be a fly on the wall when they're in film right now and looking at this and going, okay, so one thing I tell my quarterbacks first off is numbers. Count your numbers when you come up to the line of scrimmage. So if you go back to the start of this play, my quarterbacks are always talking. It's something I learned in college, and I didn't learn it through high school or anything, but when I was playing quarterback in college, count the numbers to the side of the ball. So if we're looking here, you've got Charbonnet, who's an eligible receiver in this concept.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Arroyo and JSN down here at the bottom. You have a corner, a linebacker or a nickel, and a safety, and Fred Warner. So you have 4 defenders to 3 receivers. You are outnumbered. The other side, you have 2 and 3. You have Barner and you have Cooper Kupp. Now, in this situation, if I'm Sam Darnold and looking at this based on whatever the concept is, if I know I have JSN on a go route and that safety is outside the hash and he's deep, that's eliminated for me. Like, I get that he's throwing a 50-50 jump ball, but we're on 2nd and 18 here. Try and take some chunks out of this defense. Try and get to 2nd and 9. Or 3rd and 9. Try and get to 3rd and 10 at least. Don't throw this up and put yourself in 3rd and 18 because now you're basically in a situation where now they're just going to sit at the sticks and you're not going to be able to get anything. So if you play this play through a little bit here, stop right now. Okay. Charbonnet should be getting the ball right now. Charbonnet catches this. Fred Warner is getting picked inadvertently by the release there of Arroyo. If you stick Charbonnet with this, he might be able to make Warner miss potentially and still gain 6 or 7 yards. And now you're in a more manageable 3rd down. But you look at the safety that's rolled back to the hash, and I see what Sam's trying to figure out and throw in here, but he put so much air on it that safety actually is able to close over.
Is this a good example, too, of just the impact that Nick Bosa has on a game because AJ had to chip there before he could get out into a pattern?
Well, and even Cooper Kupp there at the 30, he looks like he's engaged in a block.
Yeah. I thought he had this ball.
Yeah, like, again, you got to let your playmakers go make plays, and I'm not against that, but it's also situational football. Like, this is where I'm talking about that Sam is getting rid of the ball so quickly can almost be detrimental because you don't let things develop.
Yeah. Is that first game jitters kind of stuff, or not jitters necessarily, but like they've emphasized getting the ball out quickly so much with him. We talked about it during camp that I saw his internal clock speed up each and every week, really each and every day, to where he was getting rid of the ball extremely quick. And that's such an emphasis that he goes out there in Lumen Field on Sunday, and that's what's in his head. Are we saying that there's kind of a nice balance, a middle ground that he needs to maybe relax a little bit and not be afraid to take a little more time?
So the way you relax a quarterback,
he was 4th in the league in time to throw. He was getting rid of it quick.
So the way you relax this type of situation with a quarterback is play action. Play action now affords you that time because you're running the ball, you're holding linebackers in the box that extra second, you're creating windows, you're able to turn around and start processing, and you have the time because the D-line can't tee off and just come after you. And that's where it's great what he's doing right now. Like, I'm not faulting him for being quick to get rid of this ball and pure drop back. It's great. It's what we want to see. But the way you balance that out to get some of these deeper reads in this drop back game is by play action. Now, this is a good throw. This is an on-time throw. They high-low them.
This is, sorry about that. Got a little ahead of ourselves. 1st 10 on the final drive.
So you run Barner on the out, and basically I have this in my offense, and it's one of my favorite things. I call it hold, and it's basically a hook sit. You just kind of sit in behind that apex defender that's covering the out route, and you just throw it off the back of his head.
Now, is Barner ever under consideration here? Or at this point, last drive, got to go down, score to win the game. Do you think at this point he's just locked in completely on JSN?
He might be locked in. Barner's probably a consideration if that defender sits inside. Like
Nope.
53 stays inside there. You could pop it to Barner for sure. Now you watch 53 from this angle on this. If he stays more into his hook flat and doesn't get out so far, see right there, as soon as he turned his hips opening to Barner, Sam knew he was throwing inside. If he stays more squared hip to Sam in his drop, he's throwing it to AJ Barner because he takes away that window for that throw to JSN.
Well, and the Barner pattern just took a little longer too. He would have had to wait a
Yep.
beat. Next play, this one's incomplete, and this one was just he almost got it. It was really nice layered throw. That's a tough degree of difficulty, but a nice play by I think that was Stout that tipped that away, the rookie. He might have thought he could get it over his head because he's 5'8".
But see, there's the thing. And that's where I get a little bit bothered with the lock-in. If you go back to that play and go back to the side angle view of it, and this is where I think he's going to be told by, Janoko and Clint Kubiak, you have other guys on the field. Go forward a couple plays there, Dan. There you go. You've got other guys on the field that can help you out here.
Yeah.
So if you watch this, look where Cooper Kupp is. Cooper Kupp's wide open. The guy that's covering Cooper Kupp makes the deflection on this play. And you watch Kupp kind of chips and then out. Just get the ball out here. Get it in Kupp's hands.
Yeah.
Kupp runs and gets 7. Okay, cool. It's better than incomplete and throwing it in behind. Like that ball's still behind JSN to an extent. Like, and when you're throwing a dropout or a comeback, that ball's got to be out to the sideline where it's only going to be outside and going out of bounds.
This is the big one that got him. This is the big one that got him close. Is that the same concept as the one we just saw right before it?
It's more similar, a little bit, yeah. To an extent, it is. You got the chip and the go. Here's your 40-yard completion. It's basically just saying to JSN that they give you a certain look, you're converting vertical. But again, and this is
nowhere near.
Yeah, safety's in the middle of the field. They're in cover 1 again. They're in cover 1. If you actually go back to the start of this play, Dan, I want to see something. I'm missing that look in the middle here. Okay.
Tell me this. And is this just something that you put in the category of, hey, we trust our guys. We like Renardo Green. We trust him to make a play. This guy, JSN's been eating you up all game. It's the only thing that's been working for the Seahawks. You're going to go just with a center fielder in cover 1 and just leave this guy one-on-one with room to run? That's just confidence in your players?
That's confidence in your players. And, it's, again, that's a really good throwing ball. That's a whole shot throw. That's a difficult throw at any level. The thing it's interesting to me with some of the things I'm seeing in some of these past concepts here with Kubiak is the lack of running back usage in the swing game, where you're not really getting them involved, like Charbonnet in that. Like I saw in that one, Barner's chipping and then now swinging out. Okay, if I'm putting a guy one-on-one in the flat, Arroyo, yeah, Barner, not so much. Barner's not got the same wiggle in open space, where a Charbonnet or a K9, getting them out there in a one-on-one with that much room. Now I've got a matchup. And same with that Cooper Kupp in the flat. Get the ball to Cooper Kupp. He can make a guy miss in the flat. We've seen him take flat routes, even last year, 60 or 70 yards down the sideline because he makes the first guy miss and he's gone. And that's where I think the play action game that was so drastically underutilized in this game changes some of these throws, because that D line does not get to pin their ears back and come after Sam Darnold the same way.
So a couple of big questions here to finish with that I want to get your thoughts on. There was some question coming into this season, especially from skeptics, national pundits, about whether or not A, Cooper Kupp could be a legitimate wide receiver 2 at this stage of his career, take some of the pressure off JSN, and B, could JSN truly be a number 1 receiver when there's no other option, when there's no DK Metcalf or somebody else that they brought in? How do you feel about that after week 1? I
think JSN can be a true number 1. I think he's proven that. He played outside, he played inside, he can move around, he can do different things. JSN is going to be a number 1 wide receiver by the end of this year, and I think it's going to be kind of an undeniable fact. I will say I still think Cooper Kupp has a lot more in the tank, and I know some people are kind of going, oh, well, look at his drop that he had, and, he's lost a step. I also look at what they were asking Cooper Kupp to do a lot of, which was chip and get in the flat. They almost used him as a third tight end in this game because you didn't see a lot of Eric Saubert in this game. And so when you start using him in that role and he's chipping and going to the flats and stuff, yeah, it's not going to show up in the stat sheet. But again, your quarterback's got to see some of that. And when you don't play action and you don't do a lot of things, like the one thing I'll say in this game, Dan, that drove me nuts is you should have seen a lot of the fake wide zone stretch or zone outside zone boot back with Cooper Kupp coming underneath on a slip route out into the flat and just dumping the ball to him. He's made a living doing that constantly. And you didn't see any of that in this game. And that would have helped slow down the Nick Bosa, because I truly believe if Seattle had play action more, then that situation with Nick Bosa at the end of the game, he does not have the ability to truly go and get, I am going to bull rush because I know where Sam Darnold on a pass play is going to set up in this pocket consistently. When you do it, 92% of the times, these D linemen are taught as they watch film on the sideline, hey, look, he hitches. This is roughly where he's going to end up. If we take this tackle and you get underneath him and leverage him, you can push him right into the quarterback.
So why would Kubiak make the decision to not run more play action? It's his way. He has a proven track record of doing it. I think his rate was like 40% last year. Why the conscious decision to scrap it after that first play?
Because you couldn't consistently figure out how you're going to run the football. That was their problem. When you can't figure out how you're going to run the football, then your play action game kind of goes out the window too. And we saw it last year with Ryan Grubb. If you don't,
but wait a minute, let me interrupt you there, because the first touchdown drive, 9 runs, 1 pass, it worked. They got down the field. And aren't there studies? We talked about this a lot with the Ryan Grubb thing last year. It came up a lot that play action is still more effective than non-play action, even when your running game is not working.
It is, but when you're playing a team like San Francisco that's going to know what you want to do because they have inside knowledge of this system, it's a little bit more difficult. It's like that division rival thing. They know you better than, you know yourself in some respects. And so if you could have at least run the ball more consistently and done different things, you could have opened up your play action game. But because they were so inconsistent on how they were going to run the ball, then now your play action game becomes null and void, because you can go, okay, I can't run this because we haven't set this up doing this type of set of runs yet in our game plan. And that's how, for me, like I function. Like if I know I want to do certain things in my script in the beginning of the first or second half, I will have certain things in there, even if they go for nothing or next to nothing, so that I can then go back and go, yeah, I've called this a couple of times. Now I can call this off of it, and it'll give me that opportunity, because the defense will still react in a certain way because they have to play it honest initially.
Where does Sam go from here? I mean, how much good versus bad did you see? I mean, some of the cursory numbers are pretty decent. He was, even with no play action, he was 5th, according to PFF, the 5th highest graded quarterback on non-play action passes over the weekend. That's kind of crazy after everything we just talked about. But did you see enough from him that there's something to build off of?
Oh, 100%. There's definitely things to build off of with Sam. I saw more good than bad. I thought Sam played fine. He didn't turn the ball over. He didn't put the ball in a lot of harm way situational throws.
Zero turnover-worthy plays.
Zero turnover-worthy plays. So for me, I think there's a lot of, still growth for Sam in this offense and getting used to all the weapons that they do have. And I think it'll be more beneficial when they do use play action. I think you'll see a better version of what we saw on Sunday with the 49ers game if they can use play action and get that a complementary part to this offense.
And get complementary players involved, right? We wanted to see more from the tight ends. We've seen some of the cut-ups over the last couple of days. People have posted about Torrey Horton's routes, and it looked to me like he was essentially a decoy in this game plan, that almost everything he ran was down the field kind of clearing people out. Is that why we didn't see him gain separation? Because they just weren't calling those types of routes for him? Because we certainly saw him get separation against the number 1 defense all training camp.
Yeah, I think it was that. I think it was the lack of play action too. Like I think he needs that as a young receiver to get that hesitation on some of these DBs. So I think that's what you'll see, though, is they'll get more usage out of the tight ends and Torrey Horton and Cooper Kupp in this week coming up, because the play action will allow for it. And I think Torrey Horton's also going to be your deep shot guy, but that means you also have to occasionally throw that deep to him so teams actually believe it.
And then how much of this was just Robert Saleh being really smart? Like I thought about that a lot on the play you pointed out with the robber and how he recognized it was coming, because coming into this game, and I was right there with it. I think we talked about it on a show where I showed the depth chart, and like I just didn't see it. They lost Charvarius Ward and Hufanga and Greenlaw and all those guys. And all the young guys up front, and some questions in the secondary, a rookie starting at nickel. I just thought that their talent at the beginning of the season wasn't going to look as good as we're used to seeing from the 49ers. Time to get ready for the Seahawks and kind of think about, they say they don't game plan till the week before, but he had time to think about it, right? That maybe it'll be a different story this week with the Steelers defensive coordinator only having a few days to plan.
I think Robert Saleh probably watched a lot of that Detroit Rams end of the season for Sam Darnold, the most recent tape he has, and goes off of what he knows of Clint and what Clint did in New Orleans, and kind of goes, what are the commonalities of similar play calls? What are they probably going to call to keep Sam comfortable? And Sam loves throwing that inside slot slant. Like, he loves it. He threw it to Jettis a lot last year, and Justin Jefferson. He threw it to Cooper Kupp in this situation. Like, it is a very comfortable throw for Sam, which is why cover one Robert gets him in trouble with it. A lot of the time when he throws it into that area, that's where that happens. And so I think Robert Saleh went, hey, looking at my tendency chart of what I think Kubiak may call here, he might call this stick inside, stick nod kind of route for Cooper Kupp or JSN, who's ever inside. Doesn't matter. It's coming. This is when we'll run our cover one robber and try and catch him in it. And so that's why Robert Saleh is such a great defensive coordinator. And I think, we'll eventually get another head coaching job. Hopefully it's obviously going to be in a better situation than where he was, but that is where you see the chess match and understanding of tendencies come out when you watch film and you can start piecing it together. Like, for me, when I coach, Dan, like, between now and we have a game on Sunday, I've already started watching game film, and I'm usually spending at least 4 to 5 hours a night going through game film and I'll go through it in different segments each night, get ready for practice. Okay, this night on practice, this is what we're doing. We're attacking these tendencies on second and long. These are the plays I'm going to go to. So when I build my play sheet, which on one of these shows, Dan, I will bring my play sheet so we can actually look at it.
That'd be awesome.
And it shows you all the tendencies, all the down distance, what hash, what I like to call formationally based on coverage beaters and all that kind of stuff. And that's how that way it makes it easier come game day where I can go, yeah, they're giving me this. These are my plays to go to.
Let's do that the bye week.
Sounds like a plan.
The other thing that I just thought of too is Robert Saleh spent the second half of the season last year after he was fired as a consultant in Green Bay. So he got to see Sam Darnold and the Vikings up close on at least one occasion. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I'm sure he got to see him at least once up close. All right, man, that was fun. And, as we do with these, we'll just see how the game unfolds on Sunday before we decide what to look at next week. But we'll see you then.
Sounds good. See you then, Dan. And that, everyone, was our Film Lab breakdown of JSN and the passing game from last Sunday's matchup with the Cisco 49ers. There were definitely some situations where I feel like Sam Darnold could have been a little more patient going through his progressions. There were some guys that were open, as well as the 49ers studying Sam. There were a couple situations where they went into that cover one robber look, and on that one pass in particular to Cooper Kupp, that almost could have been an interception if that defender had been a little bit more committed to getting to his spot there in that defensive zone. So obviously there's things to work on. I think a lack of play action really did not help the Seattle Seahawks in this game. And I think, also not having Jake Bobo and Tyreek Young really did not help them either. I think that limited some of the, opportunities to run the play action, especially with having blocking receivers in the game. So those are some things we hope to see clean up for this week 2 matchup versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. But with all that being said, make sure you guys tune in on Sunday night for my live post-game show. I will be doing that one on my own. There'll be no guest host, so it'll be you guys and me, and we'll break down everything that transpires in that game. And we'll obviously be hearing from Mike McDonald then post-game, and we'll react to some of those post-game press conferences of either a Seahawks win or a Seahawks loss. And then my hope, it's definitely going to be a Seahawks win. I don't like the chances of a team starting 0-2 and making the playoffs. So with all of that being said, don't forget, like, subscribe, click that notification, become part of this great community that we're building here over at the Hawks Eye, and I will see all of you next time. Go Hawks.